65 million users, how many of them have moved to the premium service?
About 2 million have moved to premium. The way that the Evernote model works is the free version of Evernote is the main version. We don't think of the free version as limited, as restricted. The free version of Evernote, the goal of the free version is not to get you to pay. The goal of the free version is to get you to stay, is to get you to fall in love with Evernote and keep using it. And so we want people to use the free version. Because what we find is the longer you use Evernote, the more valuable it feels to you, because you're putting your whole life in there. And as the perceived value increases, your likelihood of actually wanting to pay for it goes up. The percentage of people who pay goes up very quickly with the amount of time they spent on it. In the first month that you sign up for Evernote, in the first month, very few people decide to pay. In the first month, it's only about 0.5% people pay. But a year later, it's about 6%. And 2 years, it's about 11%. And our oldest users, the ones that signed up about 5 years ago, 26% of them are paying. Any decisions, it forces a type of discipline. So at a high level, we have to think about what is the product going to be like in 100 years? And obviously, we have no idea. Okay? It's impossible to say what the products are going to be like in 100 years because we don't even know what technology is going to be like. It's very difficult to say. So instead, it makes us think about the brand. So what is the brand going to be like in 100 years? And that's much easier. So the company that I'm most inspired by, I'm inspired by many great companies, but the company that I kind of most want to emulate is Nike. Which sounds kind of strange. But, so think about this, like Nike, it's not a 100-year-old company, but it's pretty old. It's very innovative. It's still making amazing products every year, both a combination of physical products, but also technology and software and services, really beautiful stuff. They came from a very niche industry, right? In the 80s, when they were getting started, there were many companies that were making athletic shoes, but it was a very niche industry. It was only people who really cared about, jogging were into it, but they became the breakout. They became the worldwide brand for that. And they build the worldwide brand for people who care about their bodies, for people who care about athleticism. So like Nike is the best known brand in the world for making high quality products for people who aspire to being athletic, who aspire to being healthy, having a healthy lifestyle. We want Evernote to be the same thing for your mind. We want Evernote to be the worldwide most important brand for people who care about being productive, for people who care about being smart. We almost see ourselves as sort of the Nike for your mind, where it's like Nike's for your body, Evernote is for your mind. And that's something that's going to be just as true in 100 years as it is now. So we don't know what those products are going to be like. We have some ideas, but there's still going to be a need for a brand for people who want to be smart, for people who want to lead an elegantly productive life. There are. There's definitely some important principles. The most important one is when we say, why is a company most likely to fail? Like what prevents companies from getting to 100 years? Especially companies that start out really successful, right? Most companies fail right away. But there's many companies that get huge and that are very successful for 10 years or 20 years, and then they just kind of, they kind of disappear. So what is it that's going to be 100 years? More importantly, we don't just want to last 100 years. We don't want to be a 100-year-old company. We want to be a 100-year startup. We still want to be a startup in 100 years. We try to combine this idea from Japan, which is make something last 100 years, with the Silicon Valley idea of constant innovation. So the things that we won't change are things that are likely to get in the way of this. And the biggest thing that's likely to get in the way of this is the business model. We have a direct business model. This is a rule at Evernote, which means that we don't make money in any tricky way. We have a kind of a no tricks policy. We only make money from you when you decide to pay us. And that's it. We don't monetize your data. We don't, we don't try to figure out how to get you to click on ads. We're not data mining. We're not selling anything to affiliates. Like, we're not trying to provide a free service that we then find other ways to make money based on your usage of it. We say we want to make sure that all of our interests are always aligned with our users' interests. So it is only ever important for Evernote to do things that the users want, because we never have any conflict. We don't have to like please the users on one hand and please the advertisers on the other hand. We only need to please the users. So this idea is we always have a different office, that kind of stuff. And we experiment with telepresence robots. So we have 2 robots from AnyBots that you can drive around, and you can see out of the robot's eyes, and you can talk, and it's even got a laser in it, because you should not build a 6'12" robot that doesn't have a laser. It's just bad design if you're going to build a big robot and you're not going to put lasers in it. But it's useful because you can point. It's got a laser pointer that comes out of his eye, so you can like point at things like on a whiteboard. So it's kind of cool. We actually have been using it. We've been using it less in the past year because we moved into a 5-story building. So it was great when we were all in one story, because then whenever I was traveling, I would connect to the robot and I would drive around and I would talk to people. I would point at things with a laser. It was really good. But now it's 5 stories and it doesn't really go down. Well, it goes downstairs fine. It doesn't go upstairs. And it's not good enough to buy 5 of them. So we send them instead to our remote offices. So now we have one in China and we have one in Texas, because those only have one floor. So it's, I don't know if I recommend it. It is, I very much recommend really experimenting and always trying new ways to improve communication. If there's any company that feels like, okay, now we're 100 people, and man, I kind of miss it when we were like 10. It felt a lot better than we were 10. We lost something. Like, yeah, you did, but you don't have to. You just have to, you have to be willing to pay for it. You have to sit down and say, what exactly do I miss, and how do I do it, and here's my budget for it. And a 1,000-person company can feel like a 10-person company. It's just expensive to do it.
How do you see the Latin American market in this context?
Yeah, the product has always been very global. Like, we set out to make Evernote an external brain for everyone. And we figured that it was a universal demand. Everyone in the world wants to be smarter. And so right from the beginning, we never thought of it as a US company. We were building it for the worldwide audience, and it's worked great. At this point, less than a third. It's only less than 30% of our users are in the US. So most of our users and most of our revenue is coming from everywhere else. And the fastest growth areas are Latin America and South Asia, because that's the fastest growth in smartphone sales, in developing economies, in people just becoming knowledge workers. You're seeing these regions of the world where they're making the transition from people being agricultural workers or manufacturing workers to being knowledge workers. And knowledge workers are the core Evernote users. And the fastest growth of knowledge workers is in Latin America and South Asia. So that's where we're seeing the growth.
Emerging markets. As you say, is there any advice you can give to entrepreneurs who want to create a successful product used around the world?
Yeah, I think so first of all, I'm really impressed with the Chilean startups that I've seen, and with the entrepreneurial spirit here. So I'm basically here for 2 days. I'm going to be meeting with dozens of entrepreneurs and Chilean startups, and I'm really excited about that. I have kind of two pieces of advice for Chilean entrepreneurs. First of all, don't think of yourselves as Chilean entrepreneurs. That's the biggest mistake. You're not you're a global startup. You're not a Chilean startup. You're a global startup that just happens to be based in Chile. There is no reason to ever think about local limitations. So if you want to make the next great version of Facebook, don't think of it as I'm going to make a great version of Facebook for Chile. Think of it as I'm going to make a better version of Facebook for everyone. If you want to compete with Evernote, if you want to make the next Evernote, don't think of I'm going to make a better version of Evernote for Chile. Think I'm going to make a better version of Evernote for the whole world. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Global from day one. Even if you're only 2 people, you're still global. And the second one is build something for yourself. Ignore all of the advice that you got from all of your other mentors that say, figure out what the market wants. Forget about what the market wants. Figure out what you want. Build something that you really want. Build something great for yourself. Because the way the world is set up right now, if you build something great for yourself, there's another billion people who will love it as well. And 5 years ago, that didn't matter. Because 5 years ago, if you were like two guys in Chile and you built a really beautiful product just for yourself, so what, right? How are people going to find out about it? How big is the local area? But now it doesn't matter, because if you're two guys in Chile, you build something great for yourself, because of App Store and social media, 2 weeks later, everyone in the world could be using it. So global and build for yourself, and that gives you the highest chance, I think, of succeeding right now.